Well. It's been a minute since last we met. A lot has happened between now and then, including, but not limited to, Sora entering the Smash Brothers roster, Noodle the Pug becoming a proverbial groundhog for the nation's mood, Nintendo capping off their smash hit Animal Crossing New Horizons with a Wumbo-sized DLC, which I have been delving into personally and mastering my house decor skills with, Halloween coming and going. Oh, and speaking of Halloween, I really wanted this video to grace your eyes before that date, but I decided to commit to quality on this one, especially since the subject is very near and dear to my bony heart. And also, every day is Halloween when you have my complexion. Also, this episode will be a little different from the last one and not include any major spoilers, because I really want you to keep an eye out for this one. Get it? Get it? Alright everyone, huddle up. We're going to talk about the MediEvil Remaster. MediEvil was originally released on the PlayStation 1 in 1998 by developer Guerrilla Cambridge, formerly SCE Studio Cambridge, and published by Sony Computer Entertainment. It is one of my personal favorite games, as I found myself relating to the plight of Sir Daniel Fortesque, our one-eyed, skeletal protagonist.
Perhaps he can redeem himself.
The remaster was released on October 25th in the yesteryear of 2019. I know, it was a long time ago. And developed by Other Ocean Emeryville, a Canadian-American video game studio based in St. John's, Newfoundland. This version upped the visuals of the original and brought many quality-of-life improvements while staying true to its core mechanics. So much so that one could easily switch between the versions with only a few tweaks in playstyle. But we'll be mostly focusing on the remaster today, as it doesn't hurt my wrists as much. I mean, look at this! Does that look comfortable? I didn't think so. One thing that didn't change at all in the new version was the story. Sir Daniel was once a courtier to the King of Gallowmere and told him such grand and usually false stories of his conquests that the king entrusted his entire army to the gangly liar in a war against the evil sorcerer Zarek and his demonic army. Fortesque led the charge into glorious combat and died in the first volley of arrows with a shot straight through the eye.
How I wish I could fight at your side again, sir. But hold, you could take my crossbow. It's got rapid fire and you can ricochet the darts off walls to shoot around corners. I used it at the Battle of Gallowmere. After you were slain, I shot Zarek's champion, Lord Kardok, a clean kill through the eye at some 1,000 yards. Not that there's anything clever about shooting someone in the eye, sir.
Zarek returns to Gallowmere many years later to enact his revenge and accidentally raises Sir Daniel Fortesque from the dead, giving him another chance to live to the fake legends that have become his legacy and become a true hero. We all hopes he does well. According to interviews with senior staff of SCE Cambridge Studios, most notably Chris Sorrell, a lead game designer for the original, the main inspirations for MediEvil were Ghosts and Goblins, a spooky run-and-gun platformer made by Capcom, and Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas, loved by many a Hot Topic shopper. When you look at both the original and the remaster, you see that both teams excelled in their goals with eerie scenery out of a grim fairy tale, well-written orchestral music that can inspire both fear and valor, and a great cast of kooky characters and lore to drag your imagination 6 feet under to the gothic land of Gallowmere.
Prepare yourself, little man. I shall roast the flesh from your bones. I see. Well, in that case, I will pluck out both your eyes. Oh, great. I'm just going to give you a good hiding.
Oh, and a skeleton or two. Skeletons are pretty cool. I like to think I'm an expert on the subject. Even though you can pick up this game at any time of the year, this title just oozes Halloween spirit by the bushel. In the land of Gallowmere, gothic stylings and colorful settings await you, from sleepy towns full of possessed villagers to trap-filled pirate ships. The remaster does a fantastic job of bringing a new level of detail in each part of our hero's journey. Although, to be honest with you, I personally found that the lower polygon counts of the original added another level of horror to the game. Also, speaking of horror, the music of MediEvil escalates the previously mentioned gothic themes with a phenomenal orchestra performance. From moody calms to intense battle themes, the music will be sure to enchant you and really get your bones in tune. And although the music was all performed by the same orchestra, each piece does a grand job of contrasting itself from the rest and perfectly suiting the levels associated with them with different blends of tempos of brass, strings, and percussion. Go ahead, give it a listen. While the visual styles, voice acting, and music receive touch-ups, the gameplay of MediEvil remains largely the same in the remake, which could be seen as good or bad depending on your views on the topic. As an action-adventure game of its time, MediEvil will see you combat enemies with various tools of the trade, find secrets and treasures, and do some short and sometimes intense bouts of platforming. As for bugs and glitches during my playthrough, I was lucky enough to only encounter 2 major ones. Oh yes, I've saved you. Okay, keep talking. Wait a minute. Oh, hold on. Oh, no! Ah! Combat in MediEvil is usually quite simple. You find a weapon, melee or ranged, and use it to bash or slash the nearest horde of zombies or baddies into a fine pulp. Where it can get more complicated than that is dealing with new enemies and weapons as you find them. For example, in the Scarecrow fields, you're immediately told that the Scarecrows are invincible, need to be avoided, and shred you into calcium dust as soon as you touch them. However, if you decide to return to the level later and redo it with a flaming bow, you can repay them for all the trauma they caused you earlier.
The police, get what you deserve!
Melee combat can sometimes involve a little bit of RNG. You'll see that on several occasions you'll swing a sword at an enemy and it just won't connect, or you'll shoot an arrow and it'll fly over the enemy you're targeting. As a result of the latter, I was forced at times to be very conservative with my ammo, swinging at bats and other flying enemies with blunt objects, to varying effect. Sometimes by returning to levels you've already completed, or by treading very carefully the first go-around, you can discover secrets and treasures along the way, like chests of gold and tools, as well as the coveted chalice of souls in each level. To collect the chalice, you'll just need to slay every enemy you come across until it's full of souls, and take care not to cast good souls to the void. Collect the chalice and you'll get to go to the legendary Hall of Heroes, where you can chat with the other heroes of old and receive snazzy rewards, like new weapons to play with or new potion bottles for extra health reserves. While you're doing all that, you'll need to watch your step very carefully, as skeletons aren't very nimble in Gallowmere. One misstep and you'll be swimming with the fishes, or falling into an infinite black void. You lose a whole health bar, and if you have a spare, you'll be dragged up and out of your predicament and placed at a solid location. Kinda like Mario Kart. If not, say goodbye to your progress, because you're gonna have to start the entire level over. MediEvil wasn't really big on checkpoints, which have become a modern staple, and if you make enough mistakes, you're going to have to retread a lot of ground. Luckily, most of the levels aren't incredibly long, and the remaster added auto-saving to the game as you complete levels. Not to go on a tangent, but when I was a younger pile of bones, I had to play this game with no memory card. Essentially, I had to play the game in a sort of ultimate Iron Man mode. Any screw-ups would amount to a failed playthrough, and the furthest I ever got was the Pools of the Ancient Dead, which was a level designed with tedious and careful platforming in mind. It brought me many days of pain. Platforming in MediEvil always has a degree of guesswork to it, and it can cost you some precious time, and just the nature of that can be enough to make some players turn up their nose. But I can't stay mad. Just look at that handsome face. As I mentioned before, we won't be getting into spoilers for this one, and coincidentally, the game's story is pretty simple, as with many other games of the time. Simply put, you must prove yourself worthy of being a true hero to your contemporaries in the Hall of Heroes. Along the way, you'll slay zombies, pumpkins, bosses, and tons of other nasty creatures on your quest. It's a simple prompt, but its genius is in its simplicity. It's a quest with enough push to get you started on your way, and the rest of the game keeps you coming back to Gallowmere for more adventures and shenanigans with Sir Daniel Fortesque. Now that my totally unbiased trip down memory lane is done, let's move on to our final score. Banebot, will you do the honors?
Of course, Dr. Bane.
Banebot, run diagnostics.
My diagnostic scan and document search indicate that the power bill was not paid last month.
And why not? Didn't I assign that to you?
It would appear that the order could not be downloaded due to lack of space on my hard drive. Suggestion: uninstalling Call of Duty Modern Warfare would clear 95% of hard drive space.
Just do it. Guess I'll be doing this the old-fashioned way. The final score will be 7.0. That's right. I increased the scale of the gauge to 10 so that I could be more accurate with my grades. MediEvil brings back a lot of memories of both pain and joy, and while the remaster was designed well, some of the game's original mechanics hold it back from a higher score in my eyes. Even though it's not perfect, I still love it, and I know you will too. Go and give it a try if you haven't already, and have a happy, although very late, Halloween. Until next time, dear viewers.